One of the dangers of doing a podcast every week and appearing in lots of YouTube videos is that at some point your friends and family stumble across your content. And every now and then I get a message from a friend saying, "Hey, I just watched your latest video on YouTube. I've no idea what you were talking about, Paul, but it seemed okay." Now, the reason that this is a risk is because I do try and put a lot of my life into my content. Because as a working parent and a business owner myself, that helps you and me to relate to each other, right? So the story I want to tell you today is about a friend who I hope never stumbles across this recording, because I know he will recognise himself immediately, and no one likes to be talked about in a negative way. Now, this friend of mine runs his own business. Don't worry, he's not an MSP. In fact, what he does is almost irrelevant. But times sadly are not very good for him right now. He's lost a lot of clients over the last few years, and his business is not in great shape. And we do occasionally talk about marketing, and of course I give him as much advice as I can, but he rarely takes action on it. I think the problem is that he hasn't yet emotionally dealt with the fact that a business that he's been building up for decades has flattened out. In fact, it's in decline. And now he needs to do things differently to rescue it and turn it around. So if you were in a situation like this where you're actually, struggling to meet payroll in some months, you'd think that your full attention would be on the rescue and the recovery, right? That would certainly be the case for me, but not for my friend. Because the other day when we were chatting and I asked what he was doing that day, he said he was going on a training course. And not a training course on anything that would be useful to him in terms of turning his business around or improving the service. It was a very low-level training course around some minor changes to regulations regarding the service that he sells. So really, he could have just sent one of his staff or just skipped it altogether. It really wasn't an important training course. But it was an entire day of his time. And I was utterly gobsmacked when he told me about this, because just a few days before, he was telling me that he didn't have any time to implement all of the new marketing ideas that we discussed to help him win new clients. And then I had an epiphany. Him going on a training course was a form of procrastination. My friend had confused busyness with business. To him, going on a training course was doing some work. But the reality is it wasn't productive work. It was just him passing the time and maybe not even having to think about his problems for a few hours. Maybe that was the appeal. A lot of people think procrastination is about doing nothing when you should be doing something. But I believe for busy business owners like us, procrastination comes in the form of us doing things that we really shouldn't be doing at the expense of doing the things that matter. Now, I see this in marketing implementation all the time. And of course, to an MSP, marketing is hard. It's a dark art if you're actually a technical person. And anything that's hard is at risk of being held back through procrastination. Do you have this problem? Well, let me tell you what I've just agreed with my friend to see if this would help you. I took him out for a beer and I told him in a much gentler manner than I've told you how I thought he was procrastinating. And then I agreed to be his accountability buddy. So what we're going to do, we're going to start this next week. We're going to have a brief chat at the start of every week where he tells me about a couple of tasks he's going to do to win new clients. So the tasks that he wants to implement that week. So he'll tell me about them at the start of the week. And then at the end of the week, he has to give me a progress report. Now, as I say, we're only going to start next week, and I think it's going to go well, because what I think is going to happen is every time my friend catches himself procrastinating, he will remind himself that he doesn't want to be on a phone call with me at the end of the week admitting he didn't get those 2 or 3 tasks done. Now, I don't care whether he gets them done or not, but internally to him, it's very important that he gets those done. In fact, this is one of the core psychological weapons of influence, as outlined by Dr. Robert Cialdini in his classic book, which is called Influence. The weapon is called commitment and consistency. When we say we're going to do something, we want to be very consistent with following through and doing that, because to be seen to do that is an important part of our self-image. So just by getting my friend to declare what he's going to do and then holding him to account for that, he's getting stuff done. And I know that he's going to start to win new clients soon by implementing new marketing, and he will rescue his business, which is fantastic. What a great thing that I can do to help him for just an investment of, 10, 15 minutes a week. Would this work for you? If you're struggling to get your marketing implemented, why not find yourself an accountability buddy? Now, sadly, I can't personally do it with you, but I bet you could find another MSP, or just indeed another business-owning friend. And it definitely needs to be someone who is a business owner and understands your world, because then they won't let you use the usual interruptions of, oh, we had a busy week, as an excuse for not getting things done. If you do try this, will you let me know? I would love to see some examples of this being done successfully by MSPs.
Paul Green's MSP Marketing Edge.